33, Joshua Mendoza will be kicking off for the Bulldogs.
Shortly after kickoff, as the band played and the Everman crowd cheered, a tip came into police.
It was pretty evident to us that this individual was en route here to do some harm.
As 3,000 people sat in the stands on homecoming night, officers were told a teenager was on his way to the stadium with the intent to commit a shooting. When the suspect's car pulled up to the east gate, officers were ready. Police surrounded the vehicle and arrested 2 teenagers. Inside the car, investigators say they found an AR pistol and a 60-round magazine.
What a great win for all of Tarrant County, where the community and law enforcement came together and put a stop to a credible threat.
What might have been was avoided because someone spoke up. Texas schools have long preached, if you see something, say something. But after the Santa Fe High School shooting, Texas schools were required to set up threat assessment teams to keep track of reports of potential violent students. According to data from the Texas Education Agency, last school year, Texas schools received more than 67,000 reports of threats. In 17% of cases, schools discovered a student posed a real threat to others or themselves. In 3% of cases, the threat was imminent and was reported to law enforcement. Most of the reports came from students. That was the case last spring when a student in Meacham Middle School in Fort Worth reported seeing another student with a gun. The school resource officer safely seized the weapon without any incident. Last year, Fort Worth ISD reviewed 361 reports of threats. Dallas ISD received 320 threat reports, while Arlington ISD received more than 1,100, the most threat reports of any district in North Texas.
That means that it's working, that kids are taking this seriously.
David Stevens is Director of Safety for Arlington ISD. He says the school district encourages its students to report any concerning behavior. They can do this anonymously by calling Campus Crime Stoppers, or students can send a text message or photo with their cell phone by using the Stop It app. The app-based system then delivers these messages directly to the threat assessment team. But Stevens says the majority of reports come from students feeling comfortable enough to directly tell a teacher.
Because if the kids don't feel that comfort level and that ability to be safe, they're not going to talk to somebody. So that relationship means everything.
Out of the more than 1,100 threat reports Arlington ISD received last year, law enforcement was called in less than 2% of the time. But 70% of the time, the student in question was referred for intervention.
It may just be that we provide them with a mentor. Maybe we do need to get somebody some counseling or mental health, services.
Most studies on preventing school violence focus on high-profile shootings, looking at where warning signs may have been missed. But an ongoing study by the National Policing Institute is taking a different approach.
Our thought was that if we could study the averted cases, we could really gain a much fuller understanding.
Frank Straub is the director of the Averted School Violence Database. They've studied more than 170 cases where a student planned to carry out an attack on a school, but was stopped. In nearly half of these averted cases, researchers found the first to discover the suspect's plan was a peer. In some cases, they discovered the plot on social media. In other cases, they saw the suspect with a weapon. But the most common way plots were discovered and stopped, according to the study, was the suspect telling another person about their plan and that person reporting it.
Right after 9/11, there was the See Something, Say Something campaign. And I think this speaks very much to that. And I think the good thing is that we see that the vast majority of cases that are stopped are because a bystander took action and reported it.
Earlier this year at Gunn Junior High in Arlington, a student reported another student showing off a gun at school. When confronted by school officials, the student in question admitted to having a gun and was arrested. It's unclear why that student brought a gun to school, but Arlington ISD says what is clear is that reporting it prevented any chance for what might have been.
I believe our data does suggest that and show that, because we are very proactive and we really support this program, and we've had some really good positive outcomes.